Alright guys, welcome back to another Ask Me Monday. It's Derek from Simnett Nutrition. Thank you so much for joining me today. So as you guys know, Ask Me Mondays is a series of videos I do every Monday where I answer some commonly asked questions and some not so commonly asked questions from you guys. So is that song played out yet or not? Should I keep it in the intro or not? You guys let me know in the comment section down below. Bink, 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 bonk. Trash it or keep it? So I'm out here on top of Little Mountain today, as I am so often. Beautiful out there today. However, it's a little windy up here and it might start raining, and I don't want to get rain in the microphone of the camera again. So I think I'm gonna go down into the forest down there. But I wanted to hop up here first and take some cool shots. Hopefully those time-lapse shots worked, because with the clouds like coming in and out like that, it looks so awesome. But I'll have to see when I get home. You guys actually know before me right now. How weird is that? Man, I just love it out here. There's something really special about this place. And for some reason in this lighting, when it's like flat light like this with a bit of cloud cover, it looks really crazy. Like, look how neon the moss looks. These are cool trees too. I showed you guys these once before, the arbutus trees that kind of has its bark peel off and it reveals like this really smooth reddish trunk. But look at the bottom of it. It's like this huge like root ball that it grows. And you know what? The wind and the rain have actually stopped, so I might not have to go down, but we'll see. We'll just walk this way. The trail eventually starts to go down into the forest below. So if we get there, we get there. If I finish the questions before I get there, then I'm gonna turn around. All right, so first question comes from Ash Can. Yep, genetics abs have, what? Hold on, what? Yep, genetics abs. Some have 4, some have 6, and some 8. But 10? So I don't think, he couldn't have been referring to me, because I definitely don't have 10 abs. I definitely don't have 8. So Ash is right. Genetics have a lot to do with how your abs look. Of course, body fat percentage plays a huge role as well. You have to have a really low body fat in order to be showing abs. But as far as the genetic component goes, it kind of determines like what your abs look like when you are lean. And I'm not gonna lie, my abs are one of my least loved body parts by me. And I wish there was something I could do about them, but there's definitely a genetic component to it. Of course, you can build up your abs, you can tighten them, but you can't really do much for the arrangement of them. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. Let's find somewhere to put the camera down here. I think this will work. So I just wanted to touch on this because I do get a lot of messages from people saying like, Derek, I only have 4 abs showing. How can I get that 6-pack? Or like, my abs are misaligned. How do I get them to be more symmetrical? And those sorts of things really do have a lot to do with genetics. So I'm gonna show you my abs. Don't laugh. No, you guys have seen them before. So you can see mine are kind of like mismatched, right? Like they're not symmetrical. You can see these ones are shifted a little higher up than that side. And that's just me. You know, that's just genetically how my abs are gonna look. So I wish I had those John Venus abs that look like they're perfectly symmetrical, but I don't have them. So I've got to work with what I got, and I'm happy that I have functioning, working abdominals. As lean as I'd get, I don't think I would ever show 10 abs because I just don't have the torso space to do it. 1, 2, 3, maybe there, but there's no other abs there. There are not 10 to show. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out to you guys because I know when I started working out, I was really frustrated with it, and I was like, okay, maybe if I work like this side harder like this, and I might be able to even them out. But as far as I've, you know, experienced and researched, like there's no way to balance that out, unfortunately. And you just got to get a low body fat to show as many abs as you have. But definitely do it in a healthy manner. Don't starve yourself to get it. All right, the next one comes from Vegan Tina. Have you ever considered being an animal activist? And if yes, why haven't you done it? And if no, why not? I would like to think that I am a bit of an animal activist, but to some people, you have to be going to the marches, you have to be going to the vigils, you have to be, you know, bearing witness in order to be an animal rights activist. So you guys let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm curious. Do you guys think that, you know, doing what I'm doing, being vegan, promoting it the way that I am right now, would be considered being an animal activist? Or am I just vegan? Or am I just plant-based because I don't go hard on the activism side of things? I don't know. I'm curious to see what you guys say. Who's that? Not another cougar. I don't know. No, I'm sure it's just a person or breaking branches or a cougar. Okay, so I'll answer the question as if it's like, why don't I go out there and do animal activism, like in the cities, on the streets? Why don't I do the Cube of Truth, go to butcher shops and protest out front, go to the local deli counter at my supermarket and protest, you know, protest in front of fur stores, that sort of stuff. And okay, so I've definitely thought about it before, for sure. But the way that I see it is that there's a million pieces to this puzzle. The puzzle being, you know, more compassion around the world, more people going plant-based, more people going vegan, spreading the message. And there's lots of different pieces to this puzzle, meaning there's lots of different ways that people are going to be influenced to either look into the lifestyle or change their habits. And I don't think that activism is the only way to do it. I think it is a good way to do that for a lot of people, but the way that my message is best conveyed, and I think the way that I am best used for the movement to get that message out there, are through outlets like this. I think it's an important job, and I'm really happy that there's people out there that are doing it. But the piece that I'm adding to this puzzle right now, and that I'm putting the most effort into, is giving out this message like I am right here, just leading by example, being that lighthouse. If you guys watched my last Ask Me Monday, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I have to think back on to when I was becoming vegan, and even to before I was vegan, and what message I would have wanted to hear, or what message might have swayed me in that direction, and then what eventually did sway me and persuade me to go into a more plant-based, vegan, compassionate lifestyle. And I think it also has to do with the fact that it wasn't the message or the style of message that got me into veganism or kept me here either. It never really resonated with me. When I would see those things, maybe it opened up my eyes a little bit and planted that initial seed, I have no idea, but it definitely wasn't what pushed me over the edge to go vegan, for sure. It was like educating myself, seeing other role models doing it, and living well doing it, and thriving and that sort of thing. So it wasn't really the message that resonated with me before I went vegan, or anything that convinced me to go vegan. So I just like feel that my expertise and my energy is used better elsewhere in this sort of format. So I don't know, I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But I do appreciate everyone that is out there on the streets talking with strangers about veganism, because it's a tough job and someone's got to do it. So thank you. Man, it's super windy up here, and I know this microphone's probably picking up the wind. We're at the very corner of this mountain, so I think I am gonna go down now because I have a few more questions to answer, and it's too windy. Check it out, it's beautiful. All right, I'm gonna All right, I'm gonna quickly run down there, because I don't think it's gonna be as windy and cold down there. It might be as cold, but it won't be as windy. Very cool. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's the Pacific Ocean way out there. Let's try and zoom in super slow. Zoom, but we get it. Look at that. All right, we're not all the way down there yet, but it's not that windy in here, so I'm gonna answer another question. Thomas Homage. Derek, what do you think of frozen vegetables versus fresh vegetables, nutrition-wise? So I get this question a lot, especially if I ever show myself putting anything canned into food or anything frozen into my cooking. People are always like, but wait, the nutrition, you've lost all the nutrition. And there's actually quite a bit of information out there on this exact subject. So I'll put some links in the description box down below where you guys can do some reading for yourself. So here's the thing, it's not always what you think. When they pick vegetables to freeze, they pick them at the very peak of their ripeness. So when they pick vegetables to ship, you know they have to pick them early so that they will ripen along the way. They use gases to ripen them if they're not ripening quickly enough. But they pick them early, and vegetables and fruits and everything suck a lot of the nutrients out of the ground in the last phase of their growing cycle. So you really want to pick fruit as late as you can, and when you pick fruit and vegetables that are going to be shipped long distances, like I mentioned, they have to pick them early so they don't have all their nutrients yet. But when they're going to be freezing vegetables and fruit, they pick them at the peak of their ripeness, because if they were to freeze vegetables that were not ripe yet, they would be really tasteless. So they actually have more nutrients to start with a lot of the time, and that's why a lot of these studies were kind of inconclusive, and they kind of showed that the nutrient values were all over the place. There's lots of different information. Read it below. I couldn't remember all of it, but I'm going to read you this little clip that I nabbed from it, and we'll learn a little bit more about it. Alright, so it says, loss of nutrients in fresh products may be more substantial than commonly perceived. Storage and cooking can lead to overall losses of up to half of the original nutrient content prior to consumption. Depending on the commodity, freezing and canning processes may preserve nutrient value. While the initial thermal treatment of canned products can result in loss, nutrients are relatively stable during subsequent storage due to lack of oxygen. Frozen products lose fewer nutrients initially because of the short heating time in blanching, but they lose more nutrients during storage due to oxidation. So yeah, there you go, guys. It's kind of like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So I wouldn't worry about it. I would say fresh is always best. But if the only way you're gonna eat more vegetables is to have more canned vegetables in your diet, or to have canned beans or something, do it. If the only way you're gonna have vegetables with your dinner is if you use frozen vegetables because that's all you have time for, well then go for it. I mean, I would say make up more time and try and get some fresh food into your diet. But yeah, you know, don't be shy of frozen. Canned isn't the best because of the BPA and other stuff in them, but I think frozen and fresh are definitely your best bets. Vanilla Hugs. I have a question I asked on Instagram. Sorry, I try and get back to everybody on Instagram, but I get a lot of messages, so I can't get back to everyone. If I don't get back to you, it's nothing personal, I'm sorry. For seaweed haters, what do you recommend for iodine? I read that strawberries and cranberries contained it. Is that true? Thanks for another awesome video. Cool. Don't be a hater. Man, I gotta figure this like location situation out, because I just noticed now that they've logged everything down here, and it's definitely not gonna be protected from the wind. So I might actually just go back up that way. But yeah, check this out. This is a bummer. Yeah, all logged. I guess they're gonna be putting some homes in there. Pretty sweet place for homes, but huh. I don't know if you guys can see way down there, there's like a pretty gnarly mountain bike jump. Hard to see. There's some pro mountain bikers that live around here, so they're always building like the craziest stuff. All right, I think I'm gonna go back up. I don't wanna go down there. I'm bummed. It's freaking logged, bastards. All right, it's not that windy this way. So, iodine for seaweed haters. Ooh, I've actually never been down that path. Let's check it out. So, iodine. Okay, you don't like seaweed, but you need iodine. And cranberries, I've heard that they have some iodine in them. I don't know if you're eating enough cranberries. I don't know if those cranberries were grown in iodine-rich soil. Really is dependent on that. That's another thing that those studies found, that were checking if, you know, what nutrients were degraded in freezing, canning, processing, etc. They found that the starting values of different vegetables and fruits were so variable anyways. Like, there was like 8 different types of beet greens that they checked in this one study, and they were like, some of them had tons and tons of vitamin C, where others had like very little to start with. So anyways, that's the side point. But iodine especially is dependent on the soil conditions. There was, I don't know if you guys know this, but the reason why they started putting iodine in salt is because people started getting goiters. What happens when your body doesn't get enough iodine for the thyroid, because the thyroid is what needs iodine? It swells to try and absorb more iodine, so it keeps growing and growing in the hopes that it'll get some iodine if it just kind of like spreads its wings, I guess. I don't know. But what was happening in the States is that there was this whole belt, and it was kind of across like the Canadian border. You can look and see, because it's actually called the goiter belt, believe it or not. And people were getting goiters at like incredible rates, so they put iodine in the salt because they knew that was an easy way to transport iodine across the country, because people were already consuming salt and you didn't need that much of it, and you know, all that sort of stuff. So that's how it started. and there was no iodine in the soil in that goiter belt, so that's why they needed it there. And the soils have only become more depleted, so you can only imagine that the condition of the soil is even worse. There's probably less iodine in it now. So cranberries, I don't know, are you eating tons of cranberries every day? You might be getting enough iodine, but I would really get a supplement if you don't want to consume seaweed consistently. I would definitely look into getting a supplement, and they're usually taken from seaweeds or algae or something anyways. But yeah, definitely look into it because you need iodine in your diet, especially as vegans. We're eating tons of cruciferous vegetables, and that tends to inhibit some of the absorption of iodine. But as long as you have some iodine in your body, eat all the kale, broccoli, all the brassicas, and all that sort of stuff that you want. But I've never heard of strawberries having iodine, so I don't know if that's true. And then as far as dosing goes, just follow what it says on the package because they're all gonna be at different strengths. So the next question comes from Ella A. What foods get you enough vitamin D? Also, in your sauces, what could you swap instead of avocado? My partner can't eat avo, gosh darn it. All right, well first, get rid of your partner. No, I'm just kidding. Don't get rid of them. Probably an allergy or something like that. But man, not eating avocado, that would be tough. Not being able to eat avocado. Wow. What foods get you enough vitamin D? So fortified milks and probably some other foods that are fortified will get you some vitamin D. It'll be in the form of D2 most of the time. But yeah, that'll get you enough vitamin D. But naturally, what foods get you enough vitamin D? I'm sure some of you guys know this. Mushrooms, you guys know it. They convert the sun's energy into vitamin D. So if you guys do get mushrooms and they don't say that they're UV treated or whatever, you can put them outside and they'll actually absorb vitamin D from the sunlight. But like cranberries for iodine, I don't know if I'd rely on that as a reliable source of vitamin D. I would find a supplement. And as I mentioned before, most forms of vitamin D3 that you find in stores are from sheep's wool. So make sure that you find one that's from lichen or another vegan source, and it'll say on the package if you want to make sure that your vitamin D3 is vegan. And if you want to find out about like how to supplement it or whatever, check out Dr. Greger's information on vitamin D because he tells you. Get your blood tested. If you need vitamin D, take it. Man, how do I get up here? This is gonna be gnarly. All right, let's get a little run at it. I got no hands. One's holding the camera, one's holding this. Nailed it. Holy crap. Okay. You guys are not gonna believe this bike jump. So, I guess you start up there, and you're coming down, and you're coming off here, and you hit this jump, and then it's like, wait, where do you land? Way over there. That is massive. Like, let me try and show you how big this gap is, you guys. I don't know if you get that, but that's like 30 to 40 feet. That is nuts. Okay. Anyways, where did we get on vitamin D? Okay. I think we covered vitamin D. And then what in your sauces could you swap instead of avocado? So avocado is really good at thickening sauces. So you could use some soaked cashews, probably another soaked nut or seed might work. You could use nut butters as well. That's another good way to thicken them, but they do add more flavor obviously than just avocado does. What else? Tahini is another good one, but you have to use quite a bit of it in order to thicken it. Somebody mentioned in the comments that if you add lemon to tahini in sauces, it thickens it. I haven't really experienced that, but maybe you guys have better experience with that than I do. That's about it, all I can think of. Oh, you could also use something like arrowroot powder. I don't know how that would work. You have to kind of like, it usually works better in cooking because you have to like dissolve the arrowroot powder in water and then in like cold water, and then you put it into something hot and it thickens it. So yeah, I don't know if that would work in like a blender. But yeah, that's all I can think of. I've been known to put enough nutritional yeast in a sauce to thicken it. Oh, another one is cauliflower. That is a really good way to thicken sauces. So steamed cauliflower makes a really nice cheese sauce. Any of you guys that have bought my ebook, you'll know. All right, let me just climb up the launch ramp here. Look at that jump still down there, looking all scary. And you know what? Whoever it is gaps over this too. They do a little boop, a little jump down there. Man. So the last question of the day comes from Douglas William Smith. Hey Derek, have you ever had a tree branch snap on one of your pull-up adventures? Great content. Thank you for the education and inspiration. You're welcome, Douglas. Thanks for the support, homie. So have I ever had a tree branch break? None that I can remember. None that are like big, that's for sure. None that have been like major. Maybe a little twig here or there, but I've been climbing trees for a long time, doing pull-ups on trees for a long time, and I've never had any break, not to the point where I fall at least. I can't even think of any big branches that I've broken. I'm really careful when I climb trees. I've had some people say to me when I've been climbing trees around town, like some old people, be like, "You're gonna break our beautiful trees climbing up there." And I'm like, hey, you know what? In my 34 years, I've never damaged a tree all that badly. So you just chill out down there, lady. But no, I've never had any bad ones. But I'm gonna do some pull-ups right now, obviously. Watch this be the time it breaks. I hope not. And don't forget, when you're doing it on something uneven, you always want to do it the same amount of times on each side. You don't want to be imbalanced. All right, so that's it for this Ask Me Monday. Thank you guys so much for the questions. Definitely leave some questions in the comments down below for next week's Ask Me Monday. I'll see you guys with another video very soon. Thank you again for all the support. I really do appreciate it. You guys are all so cool. We're all doing such big things, good things for the environment, for the animals, for our health. I love you guys. See you guys in the next video.